it. The city lights of Seoul blurred into a watercolor painting as rain streaked down the cafe window. Inside, the warm glow of string lights and the scent of coffee created a cozy refuge. Jinho, Minjeon, and Suyeon were huddled around a small table, their laughter a stark contrast to the storm outside. Another typical Friday night. Or so they thought. Jinho, ever the leader, leaned forward. So, the plan for the weekend, I was thinking a hike up Bukhansan. We haven't gone in ages. Minjeon scoffed, not looking up from his phone. A hike? In this weather? No thanks. I've got a new game to beta test. It's supposed to have this insane open-world map. Suyeon, always the peacemaker, smiled gently. Maybe we can decide tomorrow, when the weather clears up. Minjeon, you've been glued to that thing all night. Suddenly, Minjeon's phone, an older, slightly battered model, flickered. The screen went black, then lit up with a strange, pulsating similar, swirling vortex of light. What the heck? It's never done this before. It's not even responding. He tapped and swiped at the screen, but it was frozen. The light from the phone intensified, casting long, dancing shadows across their faces. The low hum of the cafe was replaced by a high-pitched, resonant tone that seemed to vibrate in their very bones. Minjeon, what is that? Jinho asked, his voice tight with alarm. I don't know, it's completely locked up. The light exploded, a silent, blinding flash that bleached the world white. The sensation was like being pulled through a straw, dizzying, disorienting rush. And then, just as suddenly, silence, darkness, to gasp for air. Jinho was the first to stir, his eyes blinking open to a sight that defied all logic. Gone was the cafe. Gone was Seoul. Above them, a sky of deep violet swirled with two moons, one silver and one a soft, ethereal gold. They were lying on a bed of moss that glowed with a faint blue light, surrounded by colossal trees whose leaves shimmered like spun glass. The air was thick with the scent of unknown blossoms and damp earth. Where are we? Sujeon whispered, her voice trembling as she sat up, clutching her head. Minjeon scrambled to his feet, frantically patting his pockets. My phone, it's gone. He looked around, his tech-savvy mind struggling to process the impossible landscape. This isn't real. This has to be some kind of VR simulation. A prank. Jinho pushed himself up, his gaze sweeping the alien forest. His instinct, honed from years of taking charge, kicked in. Prank or not, we need to figure out where we are. Stick together. As they began to walk, the strangeness of this new world, Aetherion, became more apparent. The plants reacted to their presence, glowing brighter as they passed. Strange, melodic chirps echoed through the canopy, unlike any bird they'd ever heard. Suyeon stumbled on an overgrown root, and a wave of frustration washed over her. This is insane. I just want to go home. As she spoke, the moss around her feet flared with a startlingly bright red light. She yelped and jumped back. Whoa, did you see that? Jinho pointed. The moss, it changed color when you got upset. Minjeon's eyes widened. Wait a minute. Try it again, Sujan. Think about something happy. She took a deep breath, closing her eyes and picturing her small, sunlit apartment, her cat curled on the windowsill. A wave of warmth and fondness spread through her. Instantly, the moss at her feet shifted from red to a soft, golden yellow. It's reacting to me, to my feelings. Emotion, Minjun breathed, the pieces clicking into place. The power here, it responds to emotion. He clenched his fist, focusing on a surge of determination. We are going to figure this out. We have to. A small pebble next to his foot vibrated and levitated an inch off the ground before dropping back down. Incredible, Jinho muttered. He felt a jolt of excitement, of pure, unadulterated thrill at the adventure before them. He punched the air, a grin spreading across his face. As he did, a crackle of static energy, like a miniature lightning bolt, sparked from his knuckles. They spent the next few hours experimenting, their initial fear slowly giving way to a cautious curiosity. Suyeon, with her deep well of empathy, could make plants bloom and glow with a gentle touch and a happy thought. Minjen, driven by his analytical mind and a fierce desire for control, could move small objects with focused concentration, and Jinho, fueled by courage and a protective instinct, could generate small bursts of raw energy. Their practice was cut short by a sound that chilled them to the bone. A low, guttural growl echoed from the dense woods ahead, followed by the snap of a massive branch. "What was that?" Suyeon whispered, moving closer to Ginho. They saw it then. A creature emerged from the shadows, a monstrous thing that looked like a wolf made of gnarled wood and shadow. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent red light, and thorny vines snaked around its powerful limbs. It let out a piercing howl, its gaze locking onto them. "Get back," Jinho yelled, pushing the other two behind him. Panic flared in his chest, hot and sharp. He thrust his hands forward, trying to summon the same spark of energy as before, but nothing happened. The fear was choking his power, smothering it. The shadow beast lunged Minjun, his mind racing, focused all his panicked energy on a thick, low-hanging vine. "Move," he screamed. The vine whipped through the air, wrapping round the creature's leg and tripping it. It crashed to the ground with a thunderous roar, thrashing wildly. "It's not going to hold," Minjun grunted, sweat beading on his forehead as he struggled to maintain his concentration. The vine strained, thorns digging into the beast's shadowy hide. The creature's howl was one of pure rage. It tore at the vine with its claws, shredding it to splinters. It was back on its feet in a second, its red eyes burning with fury. It was faster now, more aggressive. Suyeon watched in horror as it charged again, this time straight for Minjan. A wave of terror seized her, but then another feeling rose to meet it, a fierce, desperate need to protect her friend. "No," she cried out. She threw her hands forward, not thinking, just feeling. A brilliant wall of golden light erupted from her palms, slamming into the beast and sending it flying backward into a tree. It howled in pain, its shadowy form flickering. The effort left Suyeon dizzy and gasping. the light faded, and she stumbled, leaning against a tree for support. I don't know how I did that. Jinho stared, first at the stunned creature, then at Sujan. Her desperation, her love for her friend, had unlocked something powerful. He understood now. It wasn't just any emotion. It had to be real, raw, and overwhelming. He looked at his friends, at their terrified faces, and a surge of protective resolve, stronger than any excitement he'd felt before, washed through him. This time, it wasn't about the thrill. It was about them. He stepped forward, his fists clenching. He focused on that feeling, the unwavering need to keep them safe. Get away from them. The static energy returned, but this time it wasn't a small spark. It was a storm, blue lightning coiling around his arms. The beast, recovering, snarled and gathered itself for another attack. Jinho didn't wait. He roared, a sound of pure defiance, and unleashed the energy. A torrent of lightning shot from his hands, striking the creature square in the chest. It shrieked a sound that was torn from the very fabric of reality, and its body dissolved not into ash or dust, but into fading motes of light, leaving nothing behind but a patch of scorched earth and an unnerving silence. The aftermath was heavy. The adrenaline faded, replaced by exhaustion and the chilling reality of what had just happened. They had almost died. Minjan was the first to speak, his voice shaky. That was too close. We need to find shelter. Somewhere safe. They found a shallow cave carved into the base of a giant, crystal-veined rock formation. As the twin moons climbed higher in the violet sky, casting long alien shadows, they huddled together, the fear returning. Sujan was pale, her hands still trembling. That light, it came from me, but it felt like it took something. I feel so empty now. She wrapped her arms around herself, shivering despite the mild air. Minjan looked at his own hands. When I was holding that vine, it was like my head was splitting open. The focus it took, it's more than just thinking hard. It physically hurts. Jinho looked at his knuckles, which were now raw and red, as if he'd actually punched something solid. The power had a price. Every time they used it, it took a toll on their bodies, on their minds, on their spirits. This world gave them incredible abilities, but it demanded something in return. A sacrifice. My phone, Minjan said quietly, breaking the silence. The one that brought us here. It had that swirling symbol on it. The beast, Su Yan, added her voice, barely a whisper. When it dissolved, the motes of light, they swirled together for a second, just before they vanished. It looked just like that symbol. A cold dread settled over them. The symbol on the phone, the way the monster dissolved. Was there a connection? Were these creatures part of the same energy that brought them here? What was the true nature of this world, and what was the ultimate cost of using its power? Jinho looked out from the cave at the strange, beautiful, and terrifying world of Aetherion. They were alive, they were together, and they had power. But they were also trapped, hunted, and paying a price they were only just beginning to understand. Finding a way home wasn't going to be a simple adventure. It was going to be a battle for their very souls. The first day was over, but their trial had just begun. Thanks for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what happens next. See you in the next one.